Okay, we're going to be designing this part right here in SketchUp. So what you'll need to do is first download SketchUp for the PC or Mac. And if these links don't work for you, you can try this third link here and make sure that you select Educational Use and SketchUp Make. But again, you should be able to use these direct links for PC download or Mac download. When you load up SketchUp, it looks like this right here. Down at the bottom, you select Template, and you want to select engineering meters like that. Start using SketchUp. If you accidentally select the wrong template, you could go up here to the top and say Window and Model Info, and then go down to Units and change the units to meters or feet or inches. In fact, let's go ahead and select centimeters like that. So what I did was, again, I went to Window, Model Info, and I selected Units here and put it in centimeters for the part that we're going to measure. The reason I did that was, if you look at the diagram here, click on that image and it shows the dimensions laid out here in centimeters. All right, so here's our selection tool. You can select right there and just hit the delete on the delete key. Let's make a rectangle base down at the bottom. And I think the dimensions on this one were 6 by 7 centimeters. So on the keyboard, without clicking anything else, I just want to say 6 centimeters, comma 7 centimeters, and hit enter. It will rescale it to that size. Since I was on a meter scale, it shrunk it down quite small here, so I'm going to use the magnifying tool here. I can use the scroll wheel to get closer, or I can also use this hand to kind of move it around. I can use the scroll wheel to zoom in to that part. Another thing that I can do here is if I want to move it closer to the origin, for example, I'll use my selection tool, select it here. This is move. I can move it right back over here to the origin. And again, play around with some of these other tools using my scroll wheel to zoom or the magnifying glass. All right, so the next thing I want to do is raise this up 4 centimeters. I'm missing one dimension here. It's really 2 centimeters here and 2 centimeters there. So I'm going to go ahead and do that using this, what's the name of that? Push-pull tool. All right, so I'm going to pull this up just an arbitrary distance, and you can see the distance is down here, but I want to make sure that it's 4 centimeters, so 4 centimeters, and then enter for the height. Now you might want to play around with these other tools that I have up here, like the orbit tool, to kind of get a different view of it, the move tool, and also this tape measure right here. You'll see that I also probably have more tools laid up here on the bar than you have. So if you don't see all of these tools, go to View, Toolbars, and select Large Tool Set. By default, I think it just shows the default getting started like that. So we'll select the larger set of tools. All right, so what we want to do next is push these levers, these layers down right here, these edges down to make a platform like that. So we're going to use this measuring stick right there, and tape measure rather, and pull this over, and we could see down here in the lower right hand side the distances, but what we can do is just type in the distance, which is going to be 2 centimeters, and it will mark it for you right there. And I think that was wrong, so I'm going to hit Control Z. It turns out to be just yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, it's 1 centimeter right there, and 7 meters for the whole thing like that. So going back over here, starting over again, and then I'm typing in 1 centimeter. It lays down a dotted line there. Didn't work. I'm going to try it again. Go this direction like that. 1 centimeter, enter. And do it on the other side as well. I'm sure there's other ways of doing this as well, but this one will actually lay down dotted lines on the surface 1 centimeter from the edge. You can take your pencil tool here. It comes up with a red X at the start and finish, right there and right there. Then we're going to push this down. Now the height of this is 4 centimeters. We only need to move it down half of that amount. Once you move it just a little bit in the direction you want to go, you can release and then type in the distance that you want to push it down, 2 centimeters in this case. Do the same thing for the other side, like so. Okay, the next thing you want to do here is put the hole through the middle of this. You see that it's basically centered up here, this hole that goes all the way through it has a 1 centimeter edge all the way around it. So we'll need to find out how to get that using the tape measure again. 1 centimeter. Come in from this edge a little bit. Notice I'm only clicking once on the edge, and then I'm not clicking again. I'm just typing in 1 centimeter and the Enter key to get that square on the top. Then I can lay down the square here. X is right there. X is right there. Clicking at each point like that, and then the push-pull tool, move it down a little bit. I know I have to push this all the way through, and I also know that it's 4 centimeters, so I typed in 4 cm. You'll see down here at the bottom right there, 4 cm. I'm hitting the Enter key, and that didn't work, so I'm going to hit Control Z, push it down again, 4 cm, Enter. And then if I use the Orbit tool right here, look through there, and you can see that I am indeed going all the way through. I kind of rotate it around so I can see the axis move through that hole like that. Okay, so what about these dotted lines here? These are kind of construction lines, and I could use this eraser right here, just clicking and marking through. Some click, drag, and release, click, drag, and release for each one of those. All right, let's add some color or some texture to this surface as well. Okay, go up to the window menu option and select materials, and it shows a window that looks like that. From the selection tab here on the drop-down list, I'm selecting metal, and how about just an aluminum anodized surface. And then you can take this paint bucket right there. I clicked on this and it automatically selected that, it appears, and you can just paint each surface with that anodized aluminum kind of appearance. You can rotate the part around here, give it texture, the same texture all the way around. Like so. Hope I hit every surface like that. Okay. Okay, let's add one more thing to this sketch here. Let's make a chamfer here at the top. Suppose that this is another part that's going to, suppose there's going to be another part going through this hole like this. It needs to have a beveled edge right there so that the part can more easily find the center and go through the through hole there. This is what I mean by chamfer. You can see the two surfaces right here, edge connecting two surfaces at right angles, just so that it makes it not such a sharp point right there on the through hole. To do that, locate, let's see, this tool right here. It says the offset tool. Click on the top face, maybe near the edge. You see the red dot kind of going along the edge like that. Click and then bring in a little bit like this. Now the distance from there to there is 1 centimeter. I just want to come in so that I'm maybe 2 millimeters from the edge. So that's 0.8 centimeters from the edge. Type in 0.8 centimeters down here on the bottom like that. Let me try that again. So 0.8 centimeters, enter. And the next thing I want to do is maybe zoom in on that area. Right now it's just a rectangle drawn on top of this surface here. But what I want to do is use my selection tool and select that edge, and you'll see that it turns blue. Then hold down the Shift key on your keyboard and click the other 4 edges like that. Then we want to select the Move tool, looks like that right there, and click on that surface like that. And you'll notice it kind of goes off in all directions when you do it that way. We want a little more control. We actually want to push it straight down, but this is just kind of going everywhere. So what you can do is use the down arrow on your keyboard. I'm going to try to do that while my mouse is still being held down. And it kind of straightened up a little bit there. You see that no matter which way I move it, it only goes up and down. That's because I pressed the down arrow on the keyboard to restrict the motion of that rectangle. All right, and you can see the measurements down here on the lower right hand side and kind of get it close to where you want it. And we're going to be going 0.2 centimeters down to make this a nice beveled edge there. So I'm going to release, and type in 0.2 centimeters, enter. That makes it symmetric. We can take a closer look at it using the orbit tool. Looks like a nice edge right there. We want to zoom back a little bit with the magnifying glass here. Maybe get a little bit different position here. You can hide that selection in blue just by using the selection tool, clicking it somewhere off here in space. Find a good perspective of that part, something like that right there, and let's save the file. Let's save this to our desktop. We want to use the file name given in the homework instructions, egr112-cad1.skp. Just going to right click, copy that right there, come back to SketchUp, paste it right there. And then go over to the homework link again and browse for that file right there on my desktop. Type in my campus ID number, email address, and click the upload button. All right, feel free to send me an email if you have any trouble creating this part.